What's going on, Mountaineer fans? Welcome to The Breakdown, where we take a look at App State's upcoming opponent each week of the season. Coastal Carolina heads to Boone Wednesday night for a big matchup. They are the only undefeated team left in the Sun Belt. They had their toughest matchup to date against Buffalo earlier in the season and escaped 28-25. Other than that, they faced a pretty weak schedule overall. App will certainly be their toughest test to date, but make no mistake, this is a very good football team. They do a lot of things really well, play within their scheme, and hopefully we're in for a great one on Wednesday. Let's take a look at why that is.
Quarterback Grayson Mccall has passed for 14 touchdowns and only one interception so far this year. I wouldn't say he's an elite thrower, but he's certainly talented with both his arm and his leg. You can see here he's throwing on the run, and when they give him time, he can definitely make the throws downfield. He doesn't seem to have a massive arm, but they certainly give him very reasonable yardage throughout most of his throws that he can easily get the ball to. And you'll see some of his favorite plays here with the option pitch. They do a lot of that. See a couple different variations of that throughout the night, I'm sure. But it looks very similar, and it looks very similar against every team they've played so far this year. I think I tried to grab pretty much a clip from each team just to show you just how consistently they run this play, or just a very slight variation of this play. Tight end Isaiah Likely. He is definitely a surefire NFL draft pick. This kid is 6'4", 240 pounds, but he doesn't move like it. You can see the hands there and concentration to make that catch, even though the guy was draped all over him. Here, somebody jumps on his back and he just carries him another 5 yards for the first down. He does have 8 touchdowns on the season. It's actually second in receiving yards, though, to Javion Hiley. You could see some of his ability as an athlete, just literally jumping over some of the defenders here. This was a 99-yard touchdown pass against Arkansas State. I mean, he's a whole lot less like a tight end and a whole lot more like a wide receiver, but he can certainly block as well. So certainly see some of that. He's got the ability to go up and catch it. Certainly targeted towards the end zone, so we'll definitely have to keep an eye on him in the red zone as a target they will try and hit. Javion Hiley leads the team with 573 yards and also has 4 touchdowns to go along with that. He's not quite as big as Likely, but he's certainly more of a pure wide receiver. He's certainly got the speed and the elusiveness of one of the smaller, faster receivers, although he's really not all that small in general. And he will also return kicks, so we should keep an eye out for that on Wednesday night as well. Wide receiver Cam Brown is actually in his 7th year of playing college football. He does trail the other two statistically, but he's still a playmaker and somebody you'll have to keep an eye out for. Running back Reese White leads the team in rushes and rushing yards. He's got 7 touchdowns on the year and averages over 7 yards a carry. And in some of these highlights, you'll be able to see why he's good combination of size and speed, carry that ball. Obviously, his line helps quite a bit too, opening up these holes, making it look a little bit easier than it probably should be. But definitely a talented back out of the backfield. And again, very obvious option pitch pass that they really like to pull off. Running back Shamari Jones has 4 touchdowns on the year, but he actually averages higher yards per carry than White, with just shy of 9 yards per carry. So this is a legitimate 2-headed monster at the running back position. They also have a third guy who's a redshirt freshman that we may even see some of, but these two will certainly feature Jones and White will certainly feature the most on Wednesday night. Defensive end Jeffrey Gunter was a former NC State transfer. Again, another surefire NFL pick. Gunter is noticeable on almost every defensive snap. He's got the size and the speed and the look to make the O-line just look silly and get right through there and make the sack or a tackle for loss. So we will have to try our best to take him out of the game, but he's certainly going to be able to make his plays. And just jumping over one of the guys on the ground here to help make that sack possible against Arkansas State. And then safety Enoch Magonzo is actually from Canada. He's an athletic safety that will come down and apply pressure at the line, and he's also got good cover skills as well. Linebacker Silas Kelly and Teddy Gallagher, they're a great tandem of linebackers. They almost mirror image each other statistically for the season. The O-line's got to give good protection for the run game and Bryce to succeed. They also blocked 2 punts for touchdowns this year, so they certainly won't be afraid to bring the pressure on Wednesday night.
So as we can see, Coastal's a great football team. They run the ball extremely well. They throw downfield well. They don't throw a lot of very deep passes, but what they do is their wide receivers, and obviously likely the tight end, who's, like I said, essentially kind of like a wide receiver, they get open, they find space. McCall makes the pass. I mean, he doesn't even throw a lot of stuff further than about 20 yards downfield, but his guys run the routes appropriately with plenty of space. They cause confusion in the secondary. They get open a lot. So the pass is easy for McCall to make, and then his guys do the rest of the work. He doesn't seem to have the biggest arm. He can uncork it a little bit, but I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of deep threats. But the secondary is going to have to be awake. The linebackers are going to have to stay alert all night because they could either pitch it or they could fake pitch and then look for the pass that's 10, 15 yards downfield. And by that time, that guy's wide open. So defense is really going to have to stay on their toes and play assignment football. Even though this is not a true triple option team, it is an option team, and they run the option very, very well. One thing you didn't see in the highlight package is all those pitch plays that they do all night long against everybody they play. One of the ones that was really successful was a fake pitch to the outside. The defense seemed to have it covered, but they were near the goal line, and McCall kept it on like a 3-yard keeper and made it into the end zone, and nobody was even aware that that was going to happen. So this team, without running a whole lot of trick plays, although they'll have some of those types of things, they just simple misdirection is very successful, and defenses need to stay awake and alert for that. So we're going to have to pressure up front and be ready for that. You're also going to have to drop 4 often because the run may not come, and they may be looking to dump that pass for a short pass over the middle, and then hopefully their guy makes the move to get the 40, 50-yard gain that they've gotten against a lot of teams earlier this season. We want to forget this game, right? App didn't have a good game overall, defensively, offensively. I think mainly the defense didn't have the greatest game because they were just on the field too long. But DeMarco Jackson was shut down for really the first time all season. I don't expect that to continue, but this is a good football team. You got to be ready for this. These guys are going to want to come out and play much better than they showed against Louisiana last week. I don't see a repeat of this. They're going to have film. They're going to be mad. They're going to be ready to show out on the national stage as the biggest game in college football on Wednesday night because it's the only game of college football on Wednesday night. So I think they're going to be ready to play. It's important that if you're going to be at the Rock, you're loud and into the game at all times. Home field advantage is going to mean a lot in this one. I really, truly think that. We'll see. I think the defense could win this game, or they could lose this game. I think offenses will both put up points on the board. I actually expect this one to be kind of a shootout. I'm gonna take a chance here, and hopefully the running backs are back and healthy, because I think that's going to give us the greatest chance to come out with a victory. And I'm gonna say we're gonna see a little bit of a shootout in Boone tonight. I'm gonna go with Coastal 34, App State 37. So stay in the seats till the very end of this one because there's probably going to be plenty of fireworks. See you at the Rock. Go Apps.